Live, everybody. I'm your host, Justin Lowe. Alongside with me, I have Seamus and Ian. Now, Celtics, arguably, as you see on the screen, played arguably their worst game of the last. I don't know. I mean, I don't know how to explain this game. I'm very confused and I'm very displeased. What happened tonight, guys?
Can we dive into the numbers right away here? Because
yes, there's some great numbers going on.
These numbers are absolutely hysterical. They're laughable. I can't do anything but laugh at these numbers. 25-11 in turnovers. We had 25 turnovers. We had 20 turnovers with 8 minutes to go in the game. Imagine if we actually played our starters during those last 8 minutes. We could have ended up with 35 turnovers. Who even knows? And then, steals. 16 steals for the Raptors.
That's a joke. You're April Fools in me, and it's not even April Fools.
Fast break points. 22-9 for the Raptors. Oh, and it gets even better. Points off of turnovers. 27-9. That's an 18-point margin. That is literally 18 points that the Celtics are going. We're not going to score these on our possessions. We're going to go ahead and give them to you,
Toronto.
Wow, that's just.
Hey, what about? Hang on.
Absolutely baffling.
I know you're talking about all the numbers, but here's a number that stood out to me: 21 offensive rebounds for the Raptors, 60 rebounds in the game to 42 for the Celtics and the Raptors. The Raptors out-rebounded us 60-42.
Dude, we're chasing the wrong 18 here. We're chasing the wrong 18. We're chasing 18-point turnover margin, points off of turnover margin. We're chasing all of the wrong 18s here.
Hey, let's play a game. Here's a trivia question. Who was the one player in this game that got a plus in the plus-minus category?
Jaylen Brown, +3.
Ooh. Yeah, was it Jaylen Brown?
Correct. Jaylen Brown, +3 by shooting 3 of 13 and 0 for 7 from the field and having 9 points. Guess who had the worst?
I was just going to ask you that.
Was it
think? It was Peyton
Oh,
Pritchard,
yes. Peyton Pritchard, a -30. And he got dunked on for the second game in a row.
How long was he out on the court?
15 minutes.
Out on the
16 minutes.
He was only on the court for 11 yesterday. And, I love Pritchard as much as the next guy, but, oh, my God. How are you a -30?
I don't even know how he achieved that in the time that he was in the game. He was only in the game for 16 minutes. So every single minute that he's in the game, they're being outscored by 2.
That's just amazing. That's more impressive, honestly.
It's almost more impressive than terrible.
Know who had the best plus-minus tonight? Broderick Thomas, who didn't even play. So look at that.
I think I'm more confused at the fact that we only scored 83 points on the Toronto Raptors, and Celtics got outscored brutally in the second half, 33-17 in the third and 31-19 in the fourth quarter.
Wait, wasn't there a stat? Weren't we outscored 55-19 to end the game?
Something like that. I know that they were on an 18-3 run, 18-5 run to finish out the game.
Just any of these.
I'm not even gonna lie. At the end of the game, I just put on Marvin's Room in the background of my live stream, and I muted the game and just listened to Marvin's Room. It was a little ironic. I was listening to Drake while they were losing to the Raptors, but I just couldn't anymore. I honestly, I couldn't. This is terrible.
I think the big thing was if let's just say if Hernan Gomez didn't go in at the end of the game, we wouldn't have broke 80 points. We wouldn't have broken 80 points. If Hernan Gomez did not go in at the end of the game, we wouldn't have broken 80 points.
He was complaining for fouls too, 30 points.
I know. We were down by 30.
The ref was like, dude, I want to go home.
what are we gonna do here? Are you gonna turn into Tracy McGrady 2.0 plus? Like,
Bro, could you imagine Hernan Gomez drops like 30 points in like 5 seconds?
I mean,
he was a minus 12 in 4 minutes.
He was a minus 12 in 4 minutes.
Yeah, Neesmith was too, not to mention. Canner was a minus 15 in 5 minutes. And Grant Williams was a minus 13 in 10 minutes.
Oh my.
Yo.
Dude, these numbers are ridiculous.
Yo, we shot 11
remember,
of 34 from 3.
Remember I said before we came on here, I was like, we should play a game. Just try to find the worst number possible. And it's just turned into that entirely. Like, we're just spitting out terrible ass numbers from the Celtics tonight. These are just...
I mean...
I think we could FaceTime Rob and see if he'll join the show.
The person who...
Yeah, like, what are his reactions from the Garden? Because he was there.
The person who played ultimately...
Rob.
Am I good to go?
Can you hear him?
Yeah, we can hear him.
Rob, what was your live reaction to this game?
So you can hear me, right, Ian?
Yep.
All right. That was some of the worst, I'll say second half, right? Was some of the worst Celtics basketball I have watched. I want to say a long time, right? It was essentially, they all looked lost. It was sloppy. I can't tell if they were tired from the double overtime, thriller they just played it in New York, which, I understand that happens. And I don't know if they couldn't get a proper game plan due to the fact that I don't know if they had practice yesterday. However, I texted you guys this, right, at the end of the game. There's 3 factors that play into the Boston Celtics in tonight's loss, and honestly, the loss against the Knicks. And the main one is Jason Tatum. Jason Tatum's body language, Jason Tatum's performance, Jason Tatum's demeanor has been awful. This man is supposed to be the next Celtics great. That is the expectation on his shoulders, right? That's not an overreaction. That's the truth. Today was the 75th anniversary, and guess what? He handed the ball to Paul Pierce, and he took the picture at center court with him. So right now, I'm not going to lie. I'm upset with Jason Tatum because he has shown me absolutely nothing to prove that he can be a leader. I don't know what you guys think about that, but from what I've seen, the sample size, the small sample size, mind you, however, it's still a sample size. Jason Tatum, he's starting to worry me.
All right. Any final thoughts, Rob, before we get back to the show?
It was rough. They got booed at the end of the third quarter. You guys, do your thing. We'll see you Sunday night. It was a rough loss for the Boston Celtics, guys. Have a good one, guys.
All right. See you, Rob.
See you, Rob.
So, yeah, that was Rob's reaction.
That was quite the statement. And
that was indeed quite the statement.
And I didn't hear any lies either. Like, he was on the nail pretty much on everything. Like, even Tatum. Like, Tatum had a better night. He was 8 of 14 at 18 points. But, like, most of that, it seemed like it came pretty early in the game. Like, didn't he start out? Like, he had 10 points early on. And then, 8 for the rest of the game? Like, Tatum, I said this yesterday on Relevant. Also, whoever's watching this too, you can go hop on NBA Fanatics on Relevant. Just shameless plug right there. I said this yesterday on there. I'm like, Tatum and Brown, like, I feel like Brown has that more killer mentality, and Tatum's more of a laid-back player who just is he goes out there and tries to hoop. Like, I just need more intensity from Tatum, especially in a game like this where the team is just clearly waning in the second quarter and the third quarter, just mostly in the third quarter. And I mean, you don't see any signs of him taking over the game whatsoever. It is slightly concerning. Like, we know he has the talent to, but he just has to lift himself up to that level.
Sorry, Justin, I didn't mean to completely.
Well, no, I have no words. I mean, we got totally obliterated on our home court on an opening night
in front of the legends,
in front of a sold-out crowd who has not seen a Celtics game. A Celtics win, I remind you, at 100% capacity, sold-out crowd The Celtics have not – this crowd has not witnessed a Celtics win in almost 2 years. In the first game back, they lose by 32 to the Siakamless Raptors. The DeMar DeRozan, the Kyle Lowry, the Pascal Siakamless freaking Raptors, and Drake wasn't even on the sidelines to heckle the Celtics. This was embarrassing. How many turnovers was it? 25 turnovers.
As many points as Scott Barnes.
25 turnovers. The Boston Celtics were complete and utter embarrassment to Boston sports tonight. Jason Tatum, I love him to death. I still think he is the best Celtic player on this team, but his piss poor attitude is the reason why the Boston Celtics are down 0-2 so far this early in the season. Celtics got a road trip coming up here, a little 2-game road trip to start off the season. Back-to-back games, Sunday in Houston and Monday in Charlotte. Charlotte is red hot right now. They're 2-0. These two teams, is no more saying, oh, the Celtics should easily beat this team. The Celtics should easily beat that team. This is the NBA. Anything can happen. Right now, the Boston Celtics are 0-2, and Jason Tatum's piss-poor attitude needs to change. Or else the Boston Celtics, like Rob said, 7 seed, here you come. I love the Celtics. I do. But I'm throwing my hands up at the refs and walking back down on defense as the other 4 players try to pick up the mid. No, that can't happen anymore. The Celtics are down 0-2. There's 80 games to go, but this is awful. Awful. This is a completely different team we saw in the preseason. I know the preseason is a completely different atmosphere, but I mean, at least in the preseason, we had some fun. We you know what I mean? Even our bench guys showed some hope. I mean, Tatum even had a decent preseason, nothing too flashy, but so far, these first 2 games, he's the reason why we're 0-2. And I love him. I love him to death. I'll defend him with all my life, but he's the reason why we're 0-2.
Do you think we did this to Tatum? Do you think we hyped him up to where we thought he was going to be?
No.
Well, I don't know. Like, I mean, I know it's not us specifically, but
4 50-point games in like a month last year.
I mean, do you think like it's getting to his head?
No, I think he's in a slump. He's a good player who's in a slump, and in that slump, his attitude and his body gestures are just horrid. I mean, he shrugs his shoulders, he throws it. I don't think he realizes, and I'm not just saying just Jason Tatum. There's a lot of players who don't realize that this year, this NBA, there's been a lot of rule changes with the officials. No more bumping into players and shooting the basketball and going to the free throw line. There's no more of that, right? And that's Jason Tatum tends to, push his shoulder into a shot and get a foul called. There's no more of that, and he's going to have to realize that, and he's going to have to try to, change his game a little bit. And 0-2, I think a big fat chunk of it lies on Jason Tatum, and I just think he's a great player who's in a bad slump early on in the season.
Yeah, I think the same. The only concern though, like I said this yesterday, I'm going to make the same comparison. I said this yesterday about Grant Williams, about that QB who can play with the lead, but cannot come back. Same kind of difference with Jason Tatum, where it's like he's so laid back, and when he's on and when the team's on, it's just smooth and flowing, and he's a really, really great player, and he can be an all-time player, and he can still be an MVP candidate in this league. But to reach that level every night, like, you have to bring your intensity every night, and Jason Tatum's intensity is not always there. Like, it really isn't. Like, he's someone that throughout his entire basketball career, like, he's been Jay Smooth, right? Like, he's not someone who's going to go out there like, I don't want to say like Marcus Smart tonight, because he didn't look like that tonight, but Marcus Smart's, a guy who's diving on the floor all the time, giving the team intensity. But like, Jason Tatum is not that player, and it's almost like the Celtics need some type of that from Tatum, some type of intensity from Tatum for them to be propelled, because he's their presumed – I don't think he's their leader at all. Like, he's their presumed leader from the outside. The problem with Tatum that I see with him is he's going to be their best player, him or Jaylen Brown, but he's not the leader. Therefore, it's like how is the pecking order going to go? Like how does everyone slot into line when it comes to leadership and ability on the floor when your best player isn't your leader? And that's just something the Celtics are going to have to figure out, because I don't think Tatum has that leading personality, unfortunately. Up to this point, I haven't seen.
Yeah, I mean, what do you even say about Tatum? And I was listening to just like NBC Sports Boston earlier, and they were talking about, is Jaylen Brown Ime Udoka's, favorite, like right now? Because it came out that, the two of them are like really close. And is that pissing off Jason Tatum? Because Brad Stevens and Jason Tatum were pretty close. Yeah. And now Jason Tatum's not, the coach's favorite, and I don't know, man. Like,
I mean, this could be a whole conspiracy theory thing, kind of like
it honestly could be.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm sure Jaylen Brown was definitely the favorite after dropping nearly 50 in Madison Square Garden on opening night.
Yeah, but he didn't do great today. But anyway,
exactly. And Jason Tatum, like Seamus said, started off great, and then as the game went on, the more we needed him, the less he showed up tonight. That's predominantly what it was. I mean, the Celtics got off to a sloppy but great start tonight, a very high energetic start. And there were even runs in the third and fourth quarter where the Celtics, looked like they could do some damage here, and it just couldn't happen. I think, again, my key to the game was play relaxed, play with some pace. Celtics did the total opposite of, I think, all three of ours. I don't think the Celtics did not close out the lane whatsoever. They allowed, I think they got
60 rebounds they allowed.
And how many points in the paint? I think they got doubled up on that. They did not match the Garden energy. They did not match the Garden's energy crowd. Actually, the crowd started to boo. Like Rob said, the crowd booed. And I said, play relax, minimize turnovers. The Celtics had one of the highest turnovers numbers in Celtics history. I don't think it is the highest turnover, but I damn well know it's up there. Our three keys to the game was exactly what the Celtics needed to do to win tonight. And it's proof in the pudding. And the Celtics did the exact opposite of what we asked them to do tonight. And they got their asses kicked by 32 points.
You know what I want to talk about? Oh, sorry, Seamus, you can go.
No, yeah, go ahead, Ian, because mine's kind of a little bit.
All right, you know what I want to talk about? Marcus Smart. All right, we love Marcus in Boston. 0 of 6 shooting tonight in general. You know what? I'm kind of thinking about it. We should start Schroder. I know it's only the second game, but Schroder has energy. Schroder plays with a hell of a lot of energy, and he looked like the only person on the court tonight that actually was running around the entire time. And I mean, I don't know how well off we're going to be.
Al Horford looked pretty damn good to me.
Okay, yeah.
No,
sorry.
I know what you're saying, though.
You know what I mean. And Al Horford, and thanks for giving the entire, live stream epilepsy. But Al Horford was the best player tonight, but Dennis Schroder had some of the most energy on the entire team. And I'm kind of getting sick and tired of watching Smart at the same time, because him and Tatum are doing the same thing, where like anytime something goes wrong, they're just looking at the refs like with their hands up with the worst attitude they can. And we signed Marcus to that extension, and he was supposed to be the leader. He was supposed to be the guy that kept everyone in line.
Who are the captains, by the way? Did we ever figure out who the captains were?
We did not figure that out yet.
Because I thought it would be Smart and Horford.
And guess what? It's probably Jaylen Brown, because Jaylen Brown
definitely not Smart. No way.
You know what? Even in the pregame show, like the pregame thing on NBC Sports Boston, when they were showing the lineup, when everyone huddled together, who was the person that was hyping them all up? Jaylen Brown. Jaylen Brown is apparently the voice right now, and nobody else is doing anything.
I did see, I don't know if you guys noticed, Dennis Schroder has gotten very vocal on the court with the Celtics. He appears to be very frustrated, sometimes kind of waving his arms at the Celtics players. Again, the defensive lapses continued. The Boston Celtics let up 115 points against the Toronto Raptors, who only scored 83 points against the Washington Wizards. Obviously, two different teams, two different nights. You're not going to always score 83 a game. You're not always going to score 105 in a game. But, that much of a switch, that's kind of embarrassing. And I'm not saying Toronto's a terrible team, a lottery-picked team. But at the same time, on your home court, expectations are high, especially coming off of a double overtime game. And Jason Tatum, we talked about. What did we talk about most in the pregame show? Jason Tatum's comeback game. Yeah, he scored 18 on 8 of 14 shooting, but he had a terrible game. He did. His attitude was horrible. We've been talking about it all show. Just simply embarrassing.
Well, this also
He had
has to be
5 turns
concerning too, because 6 of our next 8 games are on the road. 6 of our next 8. And we just got whooped at home tonight by a lesser team. We had 83 points. They had 115. Like, if you take those two numbers, we got beat by 32. Like, on our home floor? To this Raptors team, who before the game I was so low on that I guaranteed a Celtics win, only for them to lose by 32?
No more of that, by the way.
No more guarantees, yeah.
I'm making another guarantee eventually. It's just happening.
I know.
There's no consequences other than your reputation, but you'll hit on a couple of them. It'll be fine.
You know what? At this rate, it
just
looks
gotta
like
hit
the
on one
Celtics are going to be the team that everyone looks at, and it's like, yep, that's a guaranteed win.
Well, if we want to quickly
OKC, probably not, because we lost to them last season.
Who's this?
OKC. What?
Oh, yeah. Oh, I remember that game.
Well, that was after a 14.
Actually, wait, we lost that game, didn't we? We lost that game,
They were on like a...
They finished the season 2-25, and their 2 wins were against us randomly in the midst of all that, and one where the Clippers completely tanked to, not play the Lakers in the first round.
Yeah. But just to go over the over-under, I said we go over in the post-game show real quick. Over-under 3 blocks. Ian said under, me and Seamus said over. It actually turned out to be 3 blocks, so we kind of just canceled that out. No points at all. Overall, good guess by all of us. Actually, 2 out of the 3 of those blocks were in the first quarter, which was we mentioned that in the group chat, which is really impressive. Jason Tatum over under 8 free throw attempts. We all were way off. We all said over. He only shot 1. It was a technical free throw in the first quarter, and he nearly airballed it. And then Fred VanVleet over under 25 points. We all said under, which we were correct on. He had 11, but he torched the Celtics, and he had 9 assists tonight. So when he wasn't scoring his 11 points, he was playmaking and producing that. So we all finished with 1 point. I'm happy because I'm excited because I want to keep doing that. And I think I think it'll be fun with Rob because Rob has some.
And Rob can't lose any money on that, so.
Yeah. No, we're not going to bet money because Rob's in debt right now. I'm surprised he even went to tonight's game because, he lost.
Did we put Rob's Cash App out
listening? No, but I saw a bunch of comments saying it. People who aren't watching, Rob put $200 on the Knicks game, and he got his ass kicked. Badly.
Yeah, that's one way to
that inspired this over under show just so Rob can make bets and not have to pay money for it.
Yeah. So any jersey giveaways or ticket giveaways or 2K giveaways like that Rob was gonna do, that's not happening. So don't look forward to that. That's the poor kid has to sleep at home this weekend because he couldn't afford to stay at college this weekend. But that's all fun and games. See, I'm happy Rob went to the game because it was a cool game to go to. Season opener, all those Celtics legends in there, debuting those new jerseys. The Celtics' first time fully healthy in over 400 days. But then he saw one of the worst games the Celtics have played in years, arguably, maybe last year. But
we
it's
had a
been
lot of bad games last year.
Yeah.
Like that OKC game we just mentioned might be the worst.
Yeah, that was.
Yeah, but I think
bad.
the difference was that last year we expected them to lose a lot by some point in the season. This year we actually had expectations, thinking they were going to be a good team. So,
well, we could still be a good team, but
Yeah,
80-2 still on the books, or are we still going 0-82?
Well, I'm thinking if it keeps up, we go for the draft pick and we tank. But no, so Celtics are back on. They have like I said, back to back on this weekend, Sunday and Monday. Sunday at Houston, we get to see old friend Daniel Tice. This is going to be an interesting game because a Daniel Tice and a Christian Wood front court is a relatively underrated front court, I believe, an undersized front court, but that will kind of match up well with the Celtics with Robert Williams and Robert Williams in an and/or Grant Williams maybe situation, or even a Robert Williams Al Horford situation. So that should be a fun one. And then we also see like a LaMelo Ball, a Gordon Hayward, and a Terry Rozier backcourt on Monday, which is an extremely good backcourt. A great LaMelo Ball has just been ball. I know it's only been 2 games, rightfully so, but he's something else, guys.
That's a really worrisome game. I mean,
yeah,
the Celtics got ran off the floor tonight by a team that really isn't known for their, high-paced transition game at all. Like the Hornets, that's what their game is built upon. It's fast break, transition, pace. And the Celtics, we saw them last year get blown off the floor by the Hornets. And this year, like the Hornets through 2 games look magnificent, while the Celtics are getting ran off the floor by a Raptors team who probably won't make the playoffs. So, man, what is that? That's a Monday night game.
That is.
That one's going to be rough. That one has the chance to be rough. Hopefully it isn't, but I mean the matchup right now looks terrible for us.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought up Grant Williams in that preview of the next game. I completely forgot about this because of all the other crap that happened in this game. Can we talk about that lineup they put out there at the end of the first quarter? What was it? Grant Williams, Peyton Pritchard, Dennis Schroder,
Romeo Langford. It was a very small lineup.
And Josh Richardson. Like, that was probably the worst lineup they could have put out there. And obviously it doesn't matter just because, of all the other crap that ended up happening in this game. But Lord, that was god awful.
Yeah.
Looking to the rest of the season, this Rockets team, honestly, I feel like in a couple of years, this Rockets team could possibly be pretty good. They have a lot of young talent on there. Kevin Porter Jr. is nice. Jalen Green was my pick for Rookie of the Year.
Is a guy, I did not.
He was my pick for Rookie of the Year. Christian Wood, he's really good. Daniel Tice, he's coming back. I mean, he'll be good with them. And so I mean, the Rockets are going to be a fun team. I don't really remember them being very good in their first game. I think they lost their first game.
I definitely don't think Celtics should go in and take anything for granted. But these next 2 games, I know we're only 2 games into the season. I know some people might say we're overreacting, but especially a game like this where you had 25 turnovers, you allowed that many points in the paint and that many offensive rebounds, and you lost by 32 on your home court. No, there's no overreacting. I don't care if it's game 1 of the preseason, game 1 of the regular season, or game 7 of the NBA Finals. There is no excuse for a game like we saw tonight. Celtics know that. Hopefully they take note of that from the coaching staff to the players to even the damn ball boys, because Sunday, guess what? They have a game against the Houston Rockets, and they have to wipe out these last 2 games right out of their head. And again, like Seamus said, the next 6 of 8 games are on the road. These next 2 games are on the road, back to back on the road. Celtics are going to have to figure themselves out here on the road. I don't know. I'm interested. I love the Celtics. I love them till I die, obviously. I can't wait to keep covering the Celtics, but this game tonight, hopefully we saw the very, very bottom low of what this team is, right? And hopefully next game we see maybe something mediocre, we still have some things to improve. And then the next game after that, we see something very high, because, it's a process. I don't know how the Celtics could really turn back and win by 32 their next game. So it'll be interesting to see how the Celtics respond to these next 2 games after losing their last 2 games.
Do you guys feel like Ime was completely outcoached by Nick Nurse
100%.
I felt like that was the case 1,000%. like especially just with the opportunities the Raptors created on offense. I mean, it was just insane how open some of their looks were, both around the rim and on the perimeter. Like at points, the Celtics, it seemed like they didn't know where to go at all. Like they weren't communicating at all. I was just baffled by specifically in the second half what we saw. It's like you usually make adjustments at half, and those adjustments were just minimal and, ineffective.
And Ian kind of just said that right there, right? With what the heck was that lineup we saw to end the first half? I mean, what was that? That was atrocious, and rightfully so. That's when the Celtics started to fall behind. And I hate losing to Nick Nurse. There's no doubt about it. He is a great coach.
Bro, Nick Nurse is the most annoying coach in the league.
I just think he complains about every freaking call. I've lost a lot of respect to him after he had that dirty play where he sat in the corner in the bubble.
Yeah, I remember that in the bubble. That was the worst.
He actually got.
I can't believe that happened. We lost that game.
People, even media members, a lot of people actually took note of that and made sure to mention it. That was a mess. That was a messed up play. And after that, I lost a lot of respect for him. I love Kyle Lowry. I think he's a good guard, but he is another guy on the Raptors where I used to hate playing because he complained about every single call and he would just cry and cry and cry. So that's why I hate next time we see the Toronto Raptors. I want to blow them out by 77.65 points. Badly. Bad. Like, so badly. And I remember, Ian, we went to this preseason game, and I was excited because we beat Nick there. I remember pulling into the parking lot, and Ian goes, it's either a very good game against the Raptors or it's just a blowout. There's no in between. We got preseason game 1 against the Raptors. We had a great game. Game 2 against the Raptors, it was a 32-point bounce around.
Well, that's just ebbs and flows of basketball, especially when a team plays each other this often. I mean, how many times have we played the Raptors in the last, 2 seasons? So we play them 4 times a year, plus we played them 7 games in the playoffs. And then we added another preseason game in there this season. It's like, man, we see them all the time. Yeah.
Well, at least the Celtics aren't the most disappointing team in Boston right now. The Red Sox just ended their inning on a strike them out, throw them out double play, so they're doing just as bad as the Sox. 2-0. 2-0 Houston in the 7th inning.
2-0.
Bruins won, so let's give it a little clap, even though I don't even know.
Also, it wasn't even on any streaming services either. You had to watch it on ESPN Plus. You couldn't watch it on Nelson or anything. So that was the worst part about the Bruins game.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I just heard they won. Wow.
So I mean, they did win though, so that's something.
Yeah, that is something, and hopefully
better than last game when all 3 of them lost at the same time.
Yeah, that was a funny moment last post game live. It was like Ian just starts naming out all the losses and we're just
oh yeah, he was pissed. I remember.
I was so mad. I was so
Ian like that. That was hilarious. I'm sorry, I shouldn't laugh at you being mad, but that was funny. You were right.
No, it was funny. I just had I don't know. I had so much to talk about and so much to say that it was funny because my parents were asleep in the other room and they talked to me the next day. They're like, "Yeah, why are you so loud? Jesus Christ, it's 11 at night." And I'm like,
"Say, turn on the sports channels."
Sorry
All right, so
that.
Again, Celtics are back on Sunday against the Houston Rockets. Our kickoff game 1 of a 2-game road trip back to back. 7:00 p.m. tip-off on NBA TV. We will have you covered here for Celtics pre- and post-game live. Come right back here, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Daylight Savings Time on Sunday, October 24th. Guys, what do we expect here from the Celtics going into Houston? Don't even just say win or loss. What do you want to see on the court happen, even win or loss, going into Sunday?
Well, I guarantee that we will play that game. I'll guarantee that. I think I'll bet on that.
Celtics Rockets get postponed due to health and safety protocols.
So we'll probably play
Good job, Seamus.
Good odds on that one. All right. I don't even know what to say right now because in the first game, we looked pretty good. Had a turnover problem, obviously. Had a just defensive mishap problem, especially late in the game. And tonight, it was a complete reversal of everything, plus what was wrong in game one. So, I don't want to say we've hit rock bottom by game two because there are 80 more games left to go, and we should be progressing through the 82 games. But, I mean, just achieving the little things, really, just rebounding, beating the Rockets up and down the floor on the break, not letting them score second chance opportunities. That is all going to come. Just the team has to do it. Like, they can't continue the trend of turning the ball over 20 plus times in a game. Like, that just can't happen. 15 turnovers is a lot. 10 turnovers is a lot. 25 is astronomical. So limiting turnovers, limiting second chance opportunities, and just sprinting the floor, period, and rebounding. Like, it feels like I'm saying everything here, but that's just what it is right now for the Celtics.
Yeah, so I'm gonna paraphrase a quote from one of my favorite movies, Moneyball. Kevin Costner in that movie, and I'm gonna paraphrase it and use it in my Celtics terms here. The problem we're trying to solve here is that there are good teams and there are bad teams. Then there's 50 feet of crap, and then there's the Celtics right now. So honestly, just as long as they look like a competent basketball team on Sunday, I think I'll be happy.
Well, we can't go 0-3 against the Rockets. Like, we can't fall the 0-3.
Don't say that.
But we can, though. But we really can.
But we
really can.
Like, if it happens, we're going to be like,
all right, final thought.
rebuilding?
What do we think of these?
If we lose to the Rockets, are we rebuilding? Like, what is this?
What did we think of these? We finally saw them on the court. We weren't just seeing it in locker vision or on the jersey swaps. What do you rate those jerseys out of 10? I know maybe we could see them a couple more times to really give our final thoughts on them. Rob obviously saw them in person, said he really liked them. I like them better than the banner jerseys, like a lot better than the banner jerseys. I think there's absolutely nothing wrong with the jersey itself. I do agree with you, Seamus, where the shorts do look good, but maybe a little bit too much green on the shorts. It gets a little thick on the shorts. But I think overall, like the jersey, I definitely think it's like a clean, crisp, classic Celtics jersey. Like, there's nothing wrong with this jersey. I don't see why people are hating it so much.
Yeah, I don't hate this jersey. I don't like the shorts really at all, to be honest with you. I don't like the green. Honestly, the jersey itself doesn't look too bad. I mean, a little bit. It kind of looked like a practice jersey. A little bit. I don't know. That's just what I got off of it a little bit. But, I mean, I still really like it live. It looks a lot better than I think it looks like what the banner jerseys were trying to achieve last year. So, I like them. They're a solid jersey. I'm all right with them wearing it.
Yeah, I definitely don't know where it ranks. It doesn't rank at the top of my jersey rankings for what the Celtics, had in the past, but I certainly like it. It's a crisp jersey, a good throwback jersey. The only two things that get me, obviously, the shorts. I think there's just an abundant amount of green on the shorts. Like, it flares out onto, I'm gesturing towards my thigh here, even though no one can see. It juts out like to the front of the thigh, and it's like, it's like half the short is green. And, other than that, the only other thing that gets me is like with the throwback jersey, it's because we've totally sold out to corporate sponsorship. Got the big Nike logo right here, and then the big Vistaprint logo. Like, those are fine, whatever. The team's making money, but on a throwback jersey, it looks a little weird to me. Just a little weird.
Yay, like corporate sellouts.
Yeah, well, I hope you like them because the Celtics wear them quite a bit this year, and they're wearing them on Monday in Charlotte. But again, Celtics back in action Sunday, 7:00 p.m. tip-off on NBA TV or NBC Sports Boston locally. We will have you covered. Celtics pre- and post-game live here on the Celtics Talk Weekly YouTube channel. Come hang out with us, 6:30 p.m. Eastern time on Sunday. We'll be here. I'll be here. Justin, Ian will be here. Seamus will be hopefully Rob will be here as well. Any final thoughts before we close out the post-game show?
Hopefully no Daniel Tice revenge game coming towards our way because I don't know how many people can handle that at this point.
Yeah, just like
and
I don't
Hayward
know.
back to back. Just Hayward.
And we could have and Rozier.
Brad Wanamaker. Is he not on that team anymore? I don't think he's on the team.
No,
anymore.
he's on the. I think he's on the Pacers now.
Yeah.
Oh,
Wanamaker.
jeez,
Have to
that's
wait for
weird.
that revenge game.
Yeah, we'll wait for that.
Yeah.
That's coming up. That's. Is it not coming up? I thought
I
it
don't
was
know.
coming
Up eventually.
Never mind. It's really not coming up. But anyway, like I said, yep. So we'll see you Sunday 6.
Yeah.
What was it? 6:30.
6:30, I think.
6:30
Yeah.
p.m. Yep.
January
6:30 p.m.
January 10th and 12th versus the Pacers. There you go.
Oh, really?
Brad Wanamaker
Oh,
revenge
okay.
game.
It's back-to-back series here.
Yep. And November 3rd, we have. November 1st. I'm just really quick. We have the Chicago Bulls. So that's pretty interesting. At home in Boston.
Javonte Green revenge game.
Javonte Green revenge game. Then the game after that, we have Orlando. So maybe like an Etwan Moore revenge game. You know.
Oh,
saw
Mo
that a couple
Wagner
times.
revenge game.
Mo Wagner,
yeah.
who torched us in the preseason for some ridiculously stupid reason. But we won't get into that because we'll save all those thoughts for Sunday. But overall, Celtics really blew this one tonight in a 115-83 loss over the who was it? Toronto Raptors and Nick Nurse. I'm trying to forget about this game really quick. On to Houston we go. Like I said, I'm Justin. That's Seamus. That's Ian. We will see you guys Sunday for Celtics pre and post game live.